Yom Revi, Parsha Tiferes, Shnas Tavshin Ayin Vav, Shiva Tiferes, Avigdor. Today's shir is being sponsored Le'ilui Nishmas Mina Bas Yitzchak Akoyen Zeiche durch lichtige Ganei. In this week's Parsha, the Torah tells us about the mitzvah of Adlokas HaNeros. In the Chazal, beginning of the Parsha, and then Rabbah, say an interesting thing. And let us study it and see what we could glean from here. Hashem says, light the menorah lefonai, and it seems almost like HaKadosh Baruch Hu is asking Klal Yisrael for them to light the neiros for Hashem. The mitzvah of Hashem. So the Chazal say like this: Lo she'ani tzorech. It's not that I need the lights. Understandably, Hashem doesn't need any light. Putting the light for HaKadosh Baruch Hu is like lighting the light in the middle of the street, the middle of the day. The Gemara says, Shraga b'tiaro maya angeli. What does it light the little candle in the middle of the day do? Elo sheto'iru li kishem shehi'arti lochem. Hashem says, I'm giving you an opportunity to light for me just like I lit the way for you. That means, took you in the midbar, I gave you an amud eish, the layla, the onan, bayoim, and Hashem said I guided you. So if I guided you, now Hashem gave us a mitzvah to light for Him. Lama, what's the purpose of this? Kedei lahalois eschem, in order to elevate you b'fnei kol ha'umas, before all the nations of the world. Sheyiu oimrim, they should say, Yisrael, Klal Yisrael, Me'irim, lights, Hashem commanded them to light for Him. To HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Me'i Shemeir L'Kol, the source of all the light. Mashal, Chazal say this is a mashal. What's the mashal? Lepikeach v'suma. There's a sighted person and a blind person that were walking. And the sighted person, the Pikeach, takes note of the blind person. And he walks over to him and he says to him, Boy, come. I'm going to guide you. You lean on me and we'll walk together. The Suma joined him, and he went. Once they entered into the house, Amar Hapikeach L'Suma, the sighted person said to the Suma, do me a favor now. Say v'adleikli es haner. Go and light for me the ner V'hoyer li, and light for me, shaloy tehei machzik li toiva shaliv yisich, so that you shouldn't feel indebted to me that I accompanied you. Therefore I'm telling you, Shatori, do me a favor back. Kach hapikeach zeh HaKadosh Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu was the pikeach, he's the sighted person. It says, Ki Hashem einov mishoitetais b'kol ha'aretz, Hashem sees everything. V'asuma elu Yisrael is klal Yisrael. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu was Meir Lahem v'him higam, he guided them. Shenemar v'Hashem hoylech lefneim yoimam. Kivin shebo lasois mishkan, Hashem called Moshe v'amru, and he said to him, v'yikchu elech Hashem in zayin zav. Amar Yisrael, ki ato toyer neri, you're my light. And you're telling me, shenoyer lifanecha, that we should light for you. Amar lahem, he said to them, Bishvil lahaloi seschem, in order to elevate you, sheta'iru li, you should light for me, kishem shehi'arti lachem, just like I did for you. L'kach nemar zay Yisrael. This is a famous chazal. And the question is, we want to understand it. First of all, we want to understand, how is it trying to be mala eschem be'enei ha'umas? Let me give you an example. Let's say you see a guy trying to get through the streets, an emerson nebuch, and somebody feels compassion for him. He sees the guy is tripping over himself. He sees the guy pushing, banging into walls. So you want to know, and somebody goes over to that fellow and he says to him, come, lean on me, let me help you. Now, what does somebody who see that think? Know what he thinks? What a poor nebuch. What a poor nebuch. What a rachmanis, the guy has no sight. The guy can't see. I was once a Bachar in Israel, in Meir Sharim, and I noticed a guy with a towel around his head, and he's being negashesh, he's feeling the walls as he's walking. And he was climbing a steep hill. So I was watching this fellow, it was an interesting sight, something I'd never seen before, I've never seen since. Dressed in a full Yerushalmi garb, on top of his towel, he had a Yerushalmi hat. Under his arm, he had a big Gemara. It turned out to be a Gemara Shabbos, not a Gemara Makis. A big Gemara, not a thin one, with all the Mefarshim. And the guy was walking along and tapping the walls. So I went over there. I felt terrible for the guy. I think he must be blind or something. I went over and I said to Yid, Shalom Aleichem. Could I be of assistance? And I said, no. I said, where are you heading? He said, I'm going to a certain Beis Medrash. I said, yeah, that's the Beis Medrash where I learn, I go. And Bazay put his hand in my hand, and we went. Off we went. It turns out the guy wasn't blind, but he was a Parush. He was a Parush. He was a Yid that hadn't seen the street for years. He was a Choshev Yid, Talmud Chochem. I got to know him well afterwards. He was a famous Rebbe in Yerushalayim, and at a certain point of his life, he decided to be Pirish from complete Olam Hazeh and sit and learn Yemim V'Layla to be Beis Medrash and not go out. With his family's permission. And that's what he did. And then they were doing Shiputzim, they were doing renovations to the Beis Medrash, so he has to leave. So he decided he's going to move on to the next place. And I happened to be at that point in time when he was going from one to the other. So the towel around his head was he didn't want to see the street. He hadn't seen the street in 5 years. and he didn't want to see the street for another 5 years. He wanted to talk and learning. He was on the road. That's what I told him. I remember he was talking at Tiferes for Shabbos, right away, Tiferes for Shabbos. These people are mamish, holier than holier folks. But I remember feeling terrible for the guy. So here we have a sighted guy, a guy who's blind, trying to be Megashish Ba'afela, walking in the street. So you have to think, what goes through your mind? First thing you think is, Baruch Hashem, I have sight. Then you think, what a nebuch, what a tzimbrach and a mensch, blind, sumachashim kemei, you think all mamish, all kind of, it's unbelievable. So you go over to help. But a lot of times, that help does not raise the guy from his humiliating situation. Know what it does? It emphasizes the humiliation. That's what it does. I'm talking Nebuch. You go up to the guys here in Nebuch, let me help you. So what do you want to do in such a case? What do you want to do? You know what you want to do? Everybody's looking at this fellow. You want to assist him in a way that shows you're not interested in the guy's humiliation. You're actually interested in restoring his covenant. He shouldn't be a spectacle. So you go to the guy and say to the guy, you know what? Yeah, lean on me and we'll walk together through the street. You walk together, no one's going to know that you're the sighted one, you're the blind one, I'm the sighted one. We're going to walk together. So you're doing it to restore the person's honor. This is a gewaldige Yesod Midas. There are people, remember I once had a guy who I was Mekarev, made him from, and he heard about tzedakah. So he decided that he wants to help all the Rabbanim in Cleveland. So what did he do? He went to the Rabbanim, to your wives, and he said, I'm taking you on a shopping spree. The wife has to come with the husband. The husband has to come with the wife. And I'm going to go with you. And I'm going to parade you around in the store. And you could fill up a wagon as much as you want. And the guy loved this thing. He told everybody, I took Rabbi this, I told him, like, that rough, well with you. Shrek, the guy was pushing Mavazim, something, walk around with you, like you were, they were your lap dogs, they were the nebuchs, and you were helping you with the groceries, I don't know what you call it. And he says, right now it's your turn. I said, my friend, I wouldn't be caught dead with you, walking in a store, having you, can I have this box? Can I have that box? If I wanted to be humiliated, I have a lot of other better ways to do it. Not by you. The guy couldn't say, well, what do you mean? I said, no, you don't understand how humiliating this is. You schlep a wife to make a husband, go with a wife, a rov, Parsha, why are you helping him out? Because they never don't have money, tells me. Everybody knows your brother don't have money. So he wants him to say, the never. So he wants a chashiv in never. And he wants to be known as an individual. I told him this is Chesed, it's Pashit, Bizui, Bizyonis, for mention. Now there are many people like that, that they do that. I'll give you an example. You call up, a Rosh Yeshiva calls up a Gvir, and he says to the Gvir, I'd like to have an appointment. So the Gvir says, I'm not home now. I think I'm talking to you, no? No, this is a recording. Okay, I have a Talmud once went, I encouraged him to take a Rosh Yeshiva around collecting, and he says, we come to the guy's house, and I noticed the guy pull in to his garage. I wait a few minutes, I ring the bell, and I hear the guy's voice saying, who's there? And I say, I'm here with Rosh Yeshiva. Know what the guy answers? The owner of the house is not home right now. Come back another time. just saw you driving the house. I can hear your voice right now. Talk to me. People love no bushes. The Vayish people, they put it down, they humiliate them. Till finally, to jump here. Oh, I left my checkbook in the car. Oh, come back in the car. I put it in the house. Oh, I put it in the office. Oh, wait for this. This is Nishke Chesed. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is Melamed as Chesed. You know what he says? When you see a poor man going with a sighted man, you're not sure what's his motivation. You're not sure what's his motivation. A lot of people like to help poor families. You know what they want to do? They want to go to the poor families personally and see how poor they are. And they make them feel like nevers, and then they're going to give them some money. Is that how you give money? Is that by cover they can go to a guy from Delsi went to Israel. I told him to go to this major tzaddik. So he tried to put some money in the guy's hand. So the guy asked, what is this? Yeah. It's tzedakah for you. Tzedakah for you. It's bizyonis for you. No. I told him, that ain't do it. Where's your brains? Because that's a person who has midas royas. He has no midas atava. And for him, the whole act of being native tiyanim is to make him be thankful that I'm on this side of the door, not on that side. Here's a guy comes to your door in the winter. It's snowing. It's snowing and it's kaput on this cold, freezing. The guy says, this guy's cursing the day I came to this place. His mazel came in the wrong bad weather. The Kfir is sitting there in his robe and his slippers. He says, come on in, come on in. He said, oh, what can I give you? Like a warm drink maybe? Like I want something. And the Kfir is thinking, that feels good. That felt good. But all the guy, the Kfir did is he rubbed in the humiliation. The idea is to restore the person's honor. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells us, Lo shani tzarech lechem. This is a pellet. Because Pashtus, HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants me to be indebted to him. HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants me to be lahoydoi sloi, al nisecha, al teveisecha, rachamecha, ki lechol rachamecha, v'chasnecha kol hayoyim ervei k'tzarech. No, stop. Al niflesecha b'chol ha'isech, it does me chesed. But Hashem's not trying to humiliate me. Know what Hashem wants me to know? That I'm doing this to be mizaki. I'm doing this to give you a secret. You should know it's an iluim. Because I love your fathers, I'm asking you to do avodas Hashem to me. Because I'm a chavod your fathers. Because I love your fathers. I therefore love their children. So what does Hashem do? Hashem says, I'm going to show the Humasayim. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to come to the place we're making the Mishkan. And I'm going to ask you to do me a favor back. Here with the Bikeach and the Summa, so the Summa is not sure what's the motivation here. Does the guy want to remind me I'm a Summa and I can't see, I need to come on to somebody? So when he walks into the house, the Bikeach says to the Summa, do me a favor now. You light the door for me. Do something for me. A whole Yesod in Midas Tiferes is to make somebody feel that you want to restore his honor. When a person needs your hatava, so you should know, you should go out of your way to restore the person's honor. Whenever you're doing a chesed to somebody, maybe an old person on your block, and the person's a never. And you have to think, how am I going to help this person in a way that's going to restore his honor? Here's a yid who was a healthy person all his life, and he got a stroke, Rahman al-Islam, who he has arthritis, and now he has to be schlepped to shul in the morning. I think that's not a bizarre, it's a tremendous bizarre. So the guy, somebody is mischasid. The guy doesn't want chesed. Know what he wants to do? he'd rather hire a Filipino and pay the guy money and hire that guy to push him around and schlep him around. Because that gives him some modicum of chesed, some modicum of cover. He has the money to afford to hire somebody. He'd rather that than having somebody push him to shul. Somebody pushing the shul is a big rahmas. So you have to always think, what can I do to do it in a fashion that I'm going to restore the person's chesed? Now, Rabbi Yerucham says that this is a major yesod. Rabbi Yerucham says that in the Veld, when Ruvain does Shimon a toiva, and Shimon says to him, what can I do back for you? So no, the guy says, oh no, thank you. It's okay, I don't need it. Say to a gvir. Remember there was a gvir, they asked me to please come to his chassid. So I flew to his chassid. I called him up and I said to him, is there anything I can do for you on the day of your chassid? Let me help, let me give you some assistance. Let me feel that I was of some service to you. So I don't need anything, don't worry about it. You have to know what motivates a person to say that. So you should know Rabbi Yerucham says, you know what? The guy, you say right there, the guy says, nah, what did I do? Forget. Nah, Baruch Hashem, I don't need anything. Sounds like such a wonderful thing. The Torah teaches us to hate l'chilgam. Just the opposite. Punkt verkehrt. The reason why a guy does this is because he wants you to remember that you are the Nebuch and I'm in charge. I'm the guy with the bucks, I'm the mative, and you're the mekabel. I'm the noisin, and if I take back from you, you know what that does? It subtracts from my nesina, you come out. I need you also. I don't want that. No, thank you. I want it to stay just like it is. It's a very important yesod. The Rosh in Orchos Chaim writes that if somebody comes to you and says, I hope you excuse me, I wronged you. I did something wrong to you. Could you please excuse me? He said, don't be harsh with the guy. Don't say, oh, now you come there, now you finally come, that's how people do. Whether it's emes or a check, be mekabel. So Rabbi Itzela, Blazer says a very interesting thing. He says the teva is, if somebody comes and says to you, I'm sorry for what I did. So you feel a little bad for the guy, because the guy has to humiliate himself. There's no people answer. Nah, what'd you do? It was nothing. That's garnish, don't worry about it. I said, no, I really did something wrong. I acted not sensitive. I'm sorry. I want to make amends. And the person said, nah, it's garnish. So you think, wow, what a tzaddik. Rabbi Itzila says it's not coming from tzidkis. You know where it's coming from? It's coming because the guy said, I want you to be a Baal Chayv. If I'm going to accept your excuses, and I'm going to say, I'm a kabul, you're sorry, we may even the playing field. And I want it to be that you are indebted to me. That's all. He wants the guy to remain without any amas. HaKadosh Baruch Hu has anhag. He made anhag in the Bria, which is a mamish, the greatest. The Vilna Goyim says, Toiv Yotzar Kavod Lishma. He says, the greatest Toiv, interesting touch, the greatest Toiv that Hashem created in the world was that it's possible for me to give Kavod Lishma. We are His Bruyim. We rely on Him. We need Him. We have no independent chiyus on our own. We are Nebuchs, Ben Benoishal Nebuchs. We have Mamish, Azalach Evyonim. Azelach Chaylim, Azelach Aniyim, Azelach Shvacha Mensch. Everything we have to have in the Rebbeinu Shalom. And the Rebbeinu Shalom has Anhaga, and he said, you can give me cover. I give you cover. I'm indebted. I owe you everything. What's covered? A guy does me a favor. I can give him cover. I owe him for everything. Tiferes says, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, yeah, there's another called Tenu Oiz Leilokim. When Klal Yisrael, Hashem created a system whereby Klal Yisrael could actually give koyach to HaKadosh Baruch Hu's presence, and a person could be weakened, you could be matish, you could weaken HaKadosh Baruch Hu's strength in the world. When you do good deeds, you strengthen Hashem's position. You do bad deeds, you weaken Hashem's position. Why did Hashem do that? Why did Hashem create a system within our world where He made His covenant and His koyach totally on us? You know why? Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, Ta'iru li Hashem sheyarti lechem. I want you to give me koyach just like I give you koyach. I don't want you to feel, I want you to feel indebted. But I want you to know I'm giving you koyach because I'm trying to give you covenant. Hashem says. Hashem wants us to know I'm helping you for the Ummah Sa'il Masalik. Hashem helps me. But Hashem doesn't help me because I'm a nebach. It's because Hashem is a roitzel and Hashem is doig for my covenant. Hashem wants my taiva. Hashem doesn't want His taiva that He should feel like He's Hashem Melech Geyus Lovish. Hashem's the big kahuna. Hashem's the big man on the block. Matitenli, Mayitzdak, what's garnish? No. HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants my type and my covenant. And how does Hashem show that? So I'm going to create a system by which you can give me strength. I'm going to create a system by which you could be mayor for me, just like I was mayor for you. So everybody, this is something we have to give consideration for. You have to think about it. And the next time you decide to do a chesed with somebody, sometimes the guy's l'shlamazim, and the guy doesn't take care of himself. And somebody comes to fix him up. I remember once when I went to yeshiva, at first, I was very young, right before my mitzvah, I went to yeshiva out of town. Went to yeshiva, there were a lot of kids, modern kids. And in those days, when they started wearing the ties, more than 1 inch. My father bought me a tie to go to yeshiva with. It was one of these, it looked like a sheriff's, old sheriff's ties. And I remember it was like the most, my father said, this is what you wear, this is what you wear. So I bought it. Came to the yeshiva, I saw everybody was wearing bibs. Those days they had these fat ties, mamish, these big kiddush levana bibs, mamish with all kind of psychedelic colors. And everybody was the coolest thing. And I remember that they used to mamish tease me very much. I was the youngest kid in the yeshiva, no one was my age. And they used to say to me, right, you're such an old-fashioned guy. Like, what's with you? I mean, like, you didn't realize that shoelaces you wear. And that all kind of lines, you know what I mean? You think you're wearing your gartel, or all my pants were straight. In those days, also, that became the modern thing. Some kufa, some mishigas, it became like this is the coolest thing in the world. Everybody wore bell bottoms, they were called. It means the pants on the bottom came out like this, like a little tent, like a sailor. I don't. That was mishigas. I had no tam and no reyach. I had nothing. I remember when I came to that yeshiva, I told my father that I counted b'shas mincha. The first mincha I counted 23, but I told my father, get me out of here. Because that's mamish bumps. My father went to the yeshiva, and the yeshiva said, it's only for mincha. By Meyer, they won't have me. And they had a Meyer, Shachar, and also, and the yeshiva was to fight the guys trying to get him out of it. It's like today, you have the thin little pants, and that's kilu. That's the thing people think the thin pants is like the coolest thing since apple pie or something. So they think, who knows what? You had these cool thin pants, your mamish was. Those days, that's what it was. I mean, the guy used to mamish. They gave me the urn. You know what I mean? They had rachmanis in there. So finally, there was one guy, today Gvir in Chicago, and he doesn't remember the story. I remind him, I met him now 45 years later. That's Israel, I met him. I remember him, I said, you should know, this guy Rahman says, one day came to me, he says, I feel bad for you, man. Kid, you know, he says, he was a little older than me, maybe a year too older than me, he said, I feel bad for you, kid. Here's a tie. The tie itself was my symbol of Bizyonis. It was like, the whole Zah was, it wasn't helping me, it was reminding me, and Mr. Chamabuzi, yesterday. So when you're going to give a guy something, you have to always think, how can you be mated with the person? And the guy is not going to feel mevusar. But Adarab, the guy is going to feel mechubed. Give you an example. Let's say, a lot of times a Meshulach comes in. And the Meshulach comes and he says, can you take me around? You want somebody to take him around? So the guy rolls his eyes and he says, oh, when do you want to go? And the Meshulach says, you know, I don't know anybody around here. I don't have any way of getting around. Oh, so you're going to have to get a car too. Okay, what else? And, my matzah is gefelach. I haven't made money yet. I'm going back against Israel. So, oh, what a nebuch. Okay. I'll try to find some time for you. And the guy takes the guy around. The guy feels so humiliated. So there was once a bach here that really wanted to do it. I told him you have to do it in a way that the guy feels what you. He said, how do you do that? He said, tell the guy, because the guy's going to ask you why you're doing it. He's going to ask you, you want money, you want a cut, because these guys are used to giving a cut, you know. You tell the guy that it's your covenant to go with an Adam Choshev from Eretz Yisrael around. It's your covenant. Tell him, Pashit, he's doing you a favor. That's going to make the Hatava the Hatava Shalom. And he did. And I remember guys coming to me and saying, it's not Hatava, it's not Mensch. Pashit, it's not me, it's a covenant for him. He doesn't go with me. So I wish I found more people like that. He said, I wish I knew more people who make it out of the covenant. He said, well, where Benich? These guys, a lot of them, guys are on. What's Benich? He said, it'll be garnished. I said, no. I told him, because you're holding something garnished, that's why it's a covenant for that guy to be next to you. A Yidvus is another, it's an Ekev another, Yiras Hashem. Another, if the rest of my life, the Doyle another, I feel another Shlem L'Shmonim, where it says. I told him, you're not a garnished. You're not a garnished at all, it's a grace of mensch. And it's a great covenant to me every time you come in it. That's the key. The key is, when a guy comes into your house, they want to know why you're sitting down. I can't tell you how many people who ask me, why you tell me come into your office, sit me down? So why? Because you're Chashem Mensch. You're not nobody. I'm sorry to disappoint you, because you think I'm bringing you in. You think I'm this big veer out here. You understand? I said, I'm doing the best I can for you, but covet, you deserve covet. And I'll never forget that I met an Alter Litvish Yid. And I gave him Shalom Aleichem. And he said to me, Mit vemen habe ich die covet to talk. And then he said to me, wow. I said, this is amazing. You know what he says to me? With whom do I have the honor to be speaking with? I said, where do you come from? He said, I said, was this the Nusach in Litvi? He said, yes. When you said Shalom Aleichem to a guy came and said Shalom Aleichem to you, You didn't know who he was. You didn't say, oh, who are you? You don't say, what are you? Who are you? You know what you say? Mit them and havach the covet to be speaking. Ah, that comes the guy. That's. You tell guys in Mishulach, the guy never, which is over there, what's up, which guy. Yesterday, the guy come to see the guy coming. The guy remembered from a whole year that diet who came yesterday. Yeah, Chashiv man, he's a Chashiv man, Talmud Chacham a year, and never he has to go around collecting money for himself. And you saw Alta Chashiv. He told me you should know. The guy felt by you like everybody was mechaber him ad the ain't shit. And the biggest cover was, he said, you spoke about me. He said, I didn't understand English, but I saw you were saying nice things about me. Yes, then. Tell me, you're not stamps person on the street. Talmud Chacham, tell me that. We know that's for a person. That's the biggest check for a person. That makes a person feel something. So when you do tithes to people, consider this. How can I do the tithe in such a manner where the guy feels that you're doing, he can do you back a tithe? Or it's your tithe to do him a tithe, and you do it, of course, to help him out. You always want to make sure that your restore is covered, build up is covered, instead of knocking down his covered.